What is the best real estate lead generation system? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be diving into a couple different options, what really makes a lead generation system work, and what it needs to have to function properly in order for you to actually pull business out of it. Now, when I started in real estate, I was a brand new agent. I just finished my licensing class and quickly realized that leads were not just going to roll in. I was actually going to have to go out there and get them. And don't get me wrong, I took as much of the floor time as I could when I got started and even pulled a listing out of it. I think I sat on the floor probably 40 to 60 hours before I even got a lead, which turned into a listing, so it was great. But it wasn't something that I could count on. I didn't know if people were gonna call that day. I didn't know what kind of marketing was going into getting those calls to come in. And I quickly realized that I was going to have to build something myself or go out there and get the business myself, because it wasn't just coming in magically. Through the years, I've created multiple lead generation systems, some of them massive, some of them small. At one point, there were over 35 inside sales agents doing outbound cold calls for the group I was working with. And I built that to where we were making 10 to 15,000 calls a day. What I learned from that is that different systems involve different challenges. Something I didn't realize would be an issue was the acquisition of data to actually make those calls. At one point, we were burning through so many phone numbers, we would get through the entire metro area in about 40 days, which means we would be calling everybody, completely cold leads in the metro area 7 to 8 times a year. In theory, that sounds like a good thing, but the reality was, it wasn't. It didn't work well. And so we had to make a lot of adjustments to make that a functioning and profitable lead generation system. Now, I get that a lot of agents are not in a place where they can go out and build a team of 30-something ISAs and have 10 to 15,000 calls going out every single day, and to organize that and track that and manage that is a nightmare, which is not what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the exact system that I think any agent, whether they're a solo agent or on a team, can use to set up a reliable lead generation system in their real estate business that will continually bring them an ROI. Now, with all the different options that you have, door knocking, cold calling, Facebook ads, Zillow, Realtor.com, all the different things that you could go out and do to set up real estate lead generation, there are a constant flow of new opportunities. And that leads us to shiny object syndrome. I want to talk about that just for a second, because when you're getting started, you're going to be tempted to try everything. And reality is, a lot of these things work if you commit to making them work. There are teams out there who built their business entirely off of open houses. There are teams out there who built their business entirely off of door knocking. So what you're doing in lead generation isn't as important as to the execution of that lead generation system. But with that, let's dive into what I think makes the best real estate lead generation system possible. So the first thing that I believe is extremely important is that you're generating at least 100 new leads every single month. Now, I know this works because when I was doing expireds for sale by owners, that was my goal. I was calling roughly 21 days a month, and I wanted to get at least 5 new leads to follow up on every single day. So I would get 20 to 30 expireds every day. I'd call through there, and I just wanted 5 people to be able to follow up with, 5 new leads that I could add to my database to work over the next several months. Of course, I got appointments that were same day appointments or a couple days out appointments, but the point was an appointment, a lead, 5 was my goal. So why 100 leads? Well, 100 is a simple number that we can look at consistently over time and see an average conversion rate. So if you're not very good at what you're doing, which if you're just getting started, you probably won't be, and that's okay. But if you are, we can see, all right, you're converting 3 out of every 100, you're converting 5 out of every 100, whatever it is. And we want to be able to track those numbers because that's going to be important in estimating our ROI. Because that's a really important thing when you're building a lead generation system, is that you're tracking the numbers so you can estimate your return on investment. If you're spending $3,000 a month on marketing and lead generation and your database, your CRM, your website, all of this stuff that you're spending money on, You want to make sure that you're bringing in $10,000 a month or $15,000 a month. Because if you're not making money, you're not going to make it as an agent. Or even worse than not making it as an agent, you're losing money, which is not why we get into this business. But with 100 leads, if we're only converting at 1%, which is a very low conversion rate, but it is very average for people to convert at if you're just getting started. 1% of 100 is still one deal a month. So if your average price point is giving you a $7,500 commission and you're spending $3,000 to get that commission, you're still in the black or in the green. You're still making money, which is what's important here. Now, the other awesome thing about that is if you convert at 1%, but you continually do that and you're doing follow-up with those other 99 leads, you're gonna increase your conversion rate over time. Because it's not just your monthly conversion rate that matters. You wanna actually track these numbers over an 18-month period. Because you might find that you're bringing in leads that are not ready month 1, month 2, month 3, but maybe you've got a great source of leads and those are actually converting at closer to 12% over an 18-month period. So you wanna make sure that you're tracking that and making sure that you have enough leads to give you the numbers you need when you're getting started. Now, some of the challenges that you're gonna have with 100 leads per month is number one, the cost. Sometimes that can be expensive. If you live in a high-end market, you could be buying leads, if you're doing it yourself, upwards of $25 a lead. If you're in an average market, chances are you'll be somewhere between $5 and $12 a lead if you're doing it yourself. And of course, right now I'm referring to online marketing. So if you were to do expireds or FSBOs, which right now is honestly a challenge because there's not enough expireds to be able to really fill your pipeline the way you need to in most areas. Also, a tough thing with for sale by owners right now, they're selling. This market is wild and for sale by owners are selling quite well right now. Maybe it's not in their best interest, but until you're really good at convincing them of that, it is gonna be a challenge. Which leads us to the second challenge. And the second challenge is, can you control how many leads you're getting? Because like we said, we wanna get at least 100, but can you control that? So if you're spending $4,500 a month with Zillow, do you know that you're gonna get 100 leads? If you're spending $500 a month on Facebook, do you know that you're gonna get 100 leads? We have to be able to control how many leads that we are getting. And if some months you have 95 leads, some months you have 105 leads, that's fine. Our goal is to be right around that 100 number because it gives us enough people to consistently follow up with. Keep in mind, we're not talking about referral business right now. We're talking about lead generation and the best lead generation system. We're talking about how to go get new people to add to your database, to do business with, and eventually earn referrals from. You should also be reaching out to your database as you go so that you're bringing in referrals to help you pay for your marketing. So what are a few different things that we can do to control how many leads we're generating? Well, let's say we're door knocking. If we're door knocking and we go out there and we door knock 100 doors every single day, then we're gonna get a certain number of those people that we can follow up with consistently in the future. But maybe that's not the best way to go about it right now. Maybe your area is still on lockdown. People are not open to door knocking. People are not open to opening their doors for door knockers. So maybe you wanna do open houses. And well, I guess open houses could have the same challenges. But you have to figure out what you're going to do that's going to bring in at least 100 leads. I personally believe online marketing is the easiest way to do this today. And you can learn how to do this yourself quite easily. You can use YouTube, Facebook, Google, and they have their own training programs on how to do this. And my personal belief is that online leads right now are as cheap as they're ever going to be. They're the most cost-efficient, cost-effective they're ever going to be. Online leads are only gonna go up in price. And the reason being is because more people get into the space, the level of competition goes up, which causes the CPM go up, which means that you're gonna pay more for each of your leads. So I would say online leads is going to be the simplest, easiest way to consistently bring in 100 leads. Which brings us to how do we actually make that work? Because so many people have tried online leads. So many people have bought Facebook leads or Google leads or Bing leads or Realtor.com or Zillow. And they tried to make them work, but they weren't able to make them work. Which brings us to the third challenge here that we need to overcome, and that is skill. Converting online leads is sales, and it requires sales skills. When you're first getting started, you may not be able to do that right away. So you should be checking with your brokerage, checking with other agents, finding some sales classes, some sales training, something to help you understand how to convert those online leads into phone calls, into appointments, and into closings. So let's talk specifically about the online platforms that I'm referring to when I say generating online leads. Because I'm not saying you have to be out there dancing for leads. I mean, if that's what you want to do, you're welcome to, but I'm not saying that that's what you have to do. All right, I'm saying you use something like Google, which has AdWords. You use something like Facebook, which can use ads as well. Use something like Bing or Microsoft Ads. Something where you are in control. Because if you're using Zillow, if you're using Realtor.com or any of these other companies that aren't directly working for you, they're working for themselves, which means they're going to be showing multiple agents and you're not getting exclusive leads. You want your leads to be exclusive to you. So with that being said, like I said, Facebook, Google, Bing, Microsoft, whatever, all of those are going to be great options that you can learn relatively easily. Or if you don't want to take the time to do that, you can focus on the sales and you hire a company like my company, which does that for a small monthly fee, will generate exclusive leads for you. Now, the next challenge with online leads, and this is why so many people fail to make them work, is they don't know how to generate quality leads. So you need to make sure that if you're using Google, if you're using Bing, you are optimizing those keywords for the ones that bring in results. If you're using something like Facebook, you want to start with a video ad and develop your audience before you actually start advertising for leads from the audience. That way you're dealing with people who already see you, who've already recognized you because this is the second time they're coming through, and your lead quality is going to go up. So let me break down what makes this the best real estate lead generation system. So there's 3 parts that make this the best real estate lead generation system. Number 1, we're attracting a cold audience. We're gonna bring in 100 leads that are people that we don't know. Those are the cold audience, okay? So we wanna bring them in on Facebook, YouTube, on Google, on Bing, something. We wanna generate the leads ourselves so they're exclusive to us and bring them in. Step 2, we wanna warm that audience up. Now you can retarget them on Google, Facebook, Bing, YouTube. You can retarget them with video or with image ads. So you're staying in front of them and they're gonna start to recognize you the more that they see you. Also, as you're calling them, as you're texting them, you're emailing them, you sprinkle in some of these videos. They have a question, you should have a video answer so they can go back. Because as people spend more time with you, they're going to start to trust you more. Just like you're watching me right here, you're watching videos on YouTube, you start to listen to these people, you subscribe, you should. And videos allow us to be in front of more people and to start to build a connection automatically because these people are watching you, they're learning from you, they start to trust you, maybe they value what you're teaching and they start to build a relationship with you without you actually having to have that one-on-one conversation with them. So that retargeting, that video, in conjunction with calling, texting, emailing, is gonna help you warm up that audience, or warm up those leads. And then the third piece, and this is really important, some people will get stuck on part 1 and 2 where they're focused on generating new leads, warming up those leads, that they forget to turn those leads. Once they're hot, once they're referrals, you have to turn them into closings. You have to provide them great service. You have to be connected with them. So you want to continue to stay in front of them, but you want to ask them, hey, do you know anybody that's thinking about buying or selling right now? When the perfect house pops up, you want to make sure you're getting that over to them so that they're ready to go out there and buy it. Or if they're listing their house, you want to make sure that you're the one they think of, you're the one they use. You paid for that lead, you warmed up that lead, it's your turn, it's your time. So make sure that you're staying in front of your hot leads. And then again, as you build those relationships, you can ask for referrals. And you're staying in front of them so they're gonna feel like they're connected with you and you're able to get those referrals. So let's cover some keys to actually make this system work, because I know I just covered it, I told you what it was, but now you want to go do it and you're not really sure how to make it work, or maybe you think you know how to make it work, but you get started and 2 weeks later, it's on to the next shiny object. So how do we make this system work? The first step to making it work, commit to it. Commit to the system. Commit to generating 100 cold leads every single month, to warming those leads up as time goes on, and to asking for business as they heat up. Secondly, we need to be consistent. So it's not just committing, you actually have to consistently do this. It doesn't necessarily happen in month 1. Sometimes it's not even month 2 or month 3 where you start to see all of these results start happening. It can take time to build with people, to build those relationships, those connections, to deepen your database so that you're able to dive into it and pull business out of it. But I can assure you, if you're committed to it, if you're consistent with it, it will work. Now, the third thing to making this work is tracking it. This is so vitally important because if you're committed to it, if you're consistent with it, but you're not tracking it, you'll never really even know if it works. And I can guarantee you this works. So you have to make sure that you're tracking it so you can find out where you have areas of improvement, where you have areas of opportunity, so that you can continue to grow this system into something that's big enough to be able to handle your team or you as a solo agent and hit all the numbers that you want to hit. Finally, a quick bonus for you for sticking around all the way to the end. This is a way to build those relationships even deeper, to generate more referrals and generate more business as time goes on. Build a Facebook group with your audience. So create a Facebook group, a local Facebook group for the area. Maybe it's a small business thing, maybe it's a local buy-sell group, maybe it's just your clients group, okay? But build something that's unique to you and invite all of those people into it and just host the party. Gary Vee talks about this all the time, and we've seen this work and provide massive results for agents really quickly, even at just small couple hundred member groups. So build a Facebook group, build a Facebook community of those people that are in your database. And once everything opens up again, host a couple in-person events every year. So these people that are meeting you online or watching your videos, consuming your content, can meet you in person. They can actually shake your hand, get to know you. They're gonna be excited to do it, and you can do it in a way that gives back to the people inside of your database. So you're not just always asking them for something. Maybe you host a movie night, maybe you host a party, whatever it is. Do something in person with that audience, with that database, and let them connect with you even more, and your business will flourish. With that, thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, let me know down in the comments what was your favorite part, what is the one thing that you're gonna implement, and with that, I will see you next time.